a wonderful land of candy and jam and ice cream.
Why don't you sleep with me, shut up, and sleep with me, come on, and sleep with me, shut up, and sleep with me, shut up, and sleep with me, come on, why don't you sleep with me, shut up, and sleep with me, come on, and sleep with me, shut up, and sleep with me, come on, why don't you sleep with me, shut up, and sleep with me, come on, and sleep with me.
And in today's video, I want to tell you a little something about Wolfie Chew. She is the clumsiest girl I have ever met.
I'm not that bad.
Yes, you are. You are actually anime girls levels of clumsiness, that's just, what?
That is an exaggeration.
It actually isn't, and I'm going to tell you guys why. I remember the first couple of weeks that you were here in Australia with me, and we were playing lots of Legend of Zelda. We were playing through Wind Waker, and it was a really awesome time, and we went to go get something from the fridge, and you looked at me and did this cute little smile, trying to be all adorable, and you were, but then you tried to skip away, like all cute, and you slammed headfirst into a door.
It wasn't like that. Okay, the kitchen has two doors, okay? And he was coming out of one door, and I was gonna go in the other. And he distracted me. I was looking at him.
How did I distract you?
Because you were holding a guitar being all cute.
What?
And I was looking at you, and I didn't realize that the other door was closed, so I just ran into it. That's all.
Like a clumsy anime girl.
No, it wasn't even that hard.
I felt the ground shatter. You slammed into that door, you were just like...
I wasn't hurt or anything, I was just really embarrassed.
I remember trying to help you up and I couldn't because I was falling to the ground laughing so much. Because it was so cute and dorky, and it's just so like you to be that clumsy. So that's one example. I'm going to tell you another, though. There's plenty more examples where that
I'm having way too much fun with this.
This is my video, so I get to say whatever I'd like. Do you also remember the time when we went to the shopping center to go get some stuff for dinner? And for some weird reason, I thought it would be a good idea to give you control of the shopping trolley. So you were just pushing the shopping trolley around, having a great time. And I was like, okay, surely she couldn't do anything wrong here. But I was wrong. I turned my back for 1 second. When I turned around to look at her, she slammed the trolley into the wall. Somehow she didn't see the wall. And just slammed into it, and other people were looking at us.
I just wanted to get some bread.
And you did that by slamming the trolley into the wall.
It was an accident. I didn't know the wall was so close to me.
What were you looking at?
At you again.
What?
It's always your fault.
And that isn't even where the clumsiness ends. Would you like to tell everybody your laser tag story?
Oh, okay, it's not that bad, okay? We were playing laser tag with a bunch of other people, and when we went into the dark room, everybody kind of just went their separate ways, and I was just starting to do really good. I was shooting lots of people, and nobody was getting me, but then...
Are you sure that wasn't just in your head?
No, I was okay. But then I I don't know what happened. I turned to shoot someone, but there was no one there. There was just a wall. So I crashed into the wall really hard. And then I turned around, and who do I see standing right there laughing at me? This guy.
I'm convinced that you were doing that for the whole time you were in there.
No, I wasn't. Literally, any time that I do something clumsy, somehow you're always there to see it. I remember as soon as you saw that, you just like walked away like, nope, I don't know who that is.
I didn't walk away.
You did.
No, I didn't. I was like, come with me. Wow, you really are a clumsy anime girl in real life. Well, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it.
This is Wolfie Chew.
And Sweeto Tunes.
And I've been getting a lot of requests for me to try out Speaking of Helium. So today we're gonna try that out.
Yeah, we're not even gonna be able to hear you, I don't think. I think only dogs will be able to hear your voice.
It's gonna be great.
Just a quick disclaimer, do not try this at home unless you have asked your parents first. This is gonna be kind of hard to get undone, so I'm just gonna try my best. Really? Man, who did this balloon up so tight?
Hey everyone, it's Sweeto Tunes. Hey everyone, it's Sweeto Tunes. I'm here with Wolfie Chew.
Your voice is higher than mine.
It sounds so weird. See, it wears off so quickly. You want me to sing?
Yeah.
Okay. My upcoming song, Coney Island. Here we go. Let's see how this sounds.
We'll go to Coney Island, maybe. Then you'll see that we can do.
That's beautiful.
It's so high-pitched. Okay. This balloon is all shriveled. It looks weird.
Gross.
Yeah. It looks like someone's brain.
Hi everyone, this is Wolfie Chew. My voice is kind of funny.
Oh my god. That was amazing.
It's still there.
Say something else.
Hi, this is Timmy.
Tammy.
I don't know.
Say hi. That could have shattered glass. Alright. Oh, ew. That wasn't me.
Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Yeah.
Sing a song.
Pokeballs, throw them all away. Well, you guys wanted me to do this. I don't think it really sounds all that different, but there you go.
You sound great.
Thank you.
Oh my god. We sound like chipmunk. Oh, not anymore. What about you?
No, it's gone.
Oh, okay. That's the rest of the balloon. That's gone.
Whoops. Well, that was my voice on helium. I hope you guys... This is Wolfie Chew, and I am probably one of the easiest people to scare that you will ever know. There are a lot of things that scare me, and some of those things are pretty weird, so I thought maybe I could talk about that in today's video. There's one fear that I've had ever since I was younger that might be kind of weird, but I think a lot of people might understand too. I hope. I love Nintendo, but there's one series from them that I have never been able to play a game from. And the reason for that is because of the main character of the series, Donkey Kong. It's mostly just the faces he makes that freak me out. Like, this is the face he makes when someone hits him in Smash Bros. Look at that. This is supposed to be a family-friendly game. Since my boyfriend and our friends know how much I hate him, whenever we play Nintendo games, they always choose him so that I have to face off against him. So whenever we're playing games like Mario Kart or Smash Bros, it's always me surrounded by a bunch of Donkey Kongs. Not to mention that old cartoon series he used to have kind of scarred me for life. Other people can relate too, right? Okay, maybe it's just me. I've also never been able to handle scary movies. I remember one time we were watching a scary movie in class, and I was sitting at the back with my friend. I kept telling people that I didn't even find the movie scary at all, that nothing in it even looked real, but on the inside I was dying. It got to this one scene in the movie where the main character was alone in the dark and everything went really quiet, and you could just tell that a jump scare was about to happen. So I tried to be prepared for it so I wouldn't even react. But when it came, it's still managed to catch me off guard and freaked me out enough to make me scream and jump in my seat. And when I did that, I accidentally kicked my friend. Everyone else in the class turned to look at me while I sat there shaking and almost crying, still trying to tell them that the movie wasn't scary to me at all. That's not the only time where I've ended up terrified because I couldn't admit that I hated scary things. I remember the first time I went to Disneyland when I was little. My family and I went on the Haunted Mansion ride, and it scarred me for years. I got over this fear eventually, though. I went on the Haunted Mansion ride again last year, and I realized that it really isn't scary at all. Apart from the part in the elevator, that's kind of freaky. The ride did also keep breaking down the first time we went on it too, which was kind of annoying. But it seems that every time I go to a theme park, I find a new thing to be afraid of. Last year, I went on holiday to America with my boyfriend Jordan and his family. On one of the days we were there, we went to Universal Studios in Orlando. And can I first just say that Harry Potter World is absolutely amazing. I fangirled for literally the entire time we were there. It was the best part of the whole trip by far. I have so much I want to talk about with that. Maybe I'll save it for another video one day. Anyway, after a super fun day of Harry Potter, we decided to go on one last ride on the way out. A dropper ride. I had never been on one of these rides before, but they are just the scariest looking things. The thought of being slowly pulled up into the air only to be pushed back down to the ground at full speed sounded terrifying. I really didn't want to do it, but I felt like I had to at least try it before deciding that I couldn't do it. And maybe it would be the same thing as the Haunted Mansion ride, and it wouldn't be so scary after all. So I agreed to do it, and we all got in line for the ride. My nerves started to kick in extremely quickly. The entire ride looked kind of dodgy. It had this kind of industrial theme that made it look like everything could just fall apart at any second. Jordan could tell that I was nervous, so he was trying to tell me that it was okay. He'd been on lots of dropper rides before, and they're really not scary. But then his sister told me that this ride was a lot faster than any other dropper ride they'd been on before, and my nervousness doubled. Once we got to the end of the line, our group had to be separated into different sides. I was with Jordan, while everyone else was on the other side. As soon as it was just us two, I couldn't hold it in anymore, and I just started to cry. Jordan managed to calm me down, and we got on the ride together. I tried to relax and just get it over with. I learned to do this thing where when I'm doing something like watching a scary movie, I force myself to daydream, so I end up missing pretty much the entire movie because I'm just sitting there in my own little world. So I tried to do that and not think about the ride at all, until suddenly the guy working there came out and said, "Good luck. You're gonna need it." And I know that this is what they're told to say, but it made me start to panic 100 times more. Now, I thought that it was gonna be a slow and anxious ride up to the top, and then a drop back down to the bottom. But then suddenly our seats just zoomed super fast up into the air. I couldn't breathe. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. I saw my life flash in front of my eyes as the ride reached the highest point and slowed down for a second. Jordan tried to tell me that the fastest part of it was over, and I hoped it was, but nope. The coming back down part just felt so much worse. Also, since Jordan was pretty much just trying to comfort me throughout the whole ride, he ended up not paying any attention to the ride himself. When we finally got off the ride, everybody else was happy and talking about how crazy and fun it was, while I could barely even stand up by myself from the shock. I was in hysterics. I remember since I was crying into Jordan's chest, I left him with a big wet patch on his shirt too. The whole thing was just really embarrassing, and I am never going to go on another dropper ride again. And those are my stories. I have a lot more strange fears to talk about, so let me know if you'd like to hear them. I also have a Patreon where I post